Thursday, May 1st, 2025, College of Communication and Information Building, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37917. Dear Torch Sports viewers, we accept the fact that our opinions won't always be right. That's just part of the job. But we don't apologize for speaking our minds. We are who we are. Crazy, enthusiastic, optimistic, doubtful. We believe what we believe, and we stand by it. That's what makes Torch Sports special, and that's what will keep Torch Sports special. Sincerely, the seniors of 2025.
Aren't you the senior?
I got work. Wait, you'll need this. Yeah.
Last episode, don't get in too much trouble.
Have a great day, sweetie.
Make the family name proud, okay? All right. Woo!
Have a good day.
Happy last episode. Bye, guys.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the season finale of Torch Sports. We hope you enjoyed our little breakfast club type deal, and I know that the award for best picture is in the mail. I've got a good feeling. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but all you missed was all the seniors walking in. Imagine a sappy exit. You get the idea.
It would have been emotional. It would have been beautiful.
We're going to save the crying. Tristan said he is going to cry this episode, so we're going to hold him to it.
Yeah.
All right, well, this week the Lady Vol softball team lost to number 19 Clemson and number 20 Ole Miss, but recovered and won their series against the Rebels. Tennessee baseball lost another series, this time to the LSU Tigers, and NFL teams are starting to meet with their draft picks, and the first round of the NBA playoffs are coming to an end. I'm your host, Jackson Chalk, with the rest of the Orange Zone crew, that being Tristan Thornhill, Luke Attal, and Luke Lamery. How about one more time? Let's do it, guys. Let's talk about this baseball team yet again, because they seem to have issues every week. Tennessee has lost three of their last four series, and their only win came against Ole Miss. The losses were against Texas A&M in that disaster on that Saturday doubleheader, Kentucky, and LSU. Now, I know all of you were athletes at some point in your careers, and I'd assume that you've hit a slump at some point. What would you do if you were Tony Vitello and you have the opportunity to talk to this team?
Now, I ran in high school, and my slump was all 4 years. No, but in all seriousness, look, what you got to tell your team, have some heart, okay? You got to find your why. That's the bottom line, is that you've got to find your reason to get up in the morning, go to the practice field, go to the game. You have to find it within your soul to play this game. And when you go into that game, you have to have that mentality that you have more heart and you have more willpower and you have more guts than the other team you're playing. And if you don't, then it's over. You don't have a shot. You have to be able to believe what you're producing out on that field. And sometimes in these last couple of series, you haven't seen it. You haven't seen that they believed what they are producing.
I think if I'm in Coach Vitello's position, it's very simple. It's two words: calm down. Take your time, relax, get a little mental reset in. I know, like you said, you were a runner. I was a golfer in high school. And, you know, in golf, you have a bad hole. You need a little mental reset, get yourself back, and focus on the future. And I think that's what this team needs. Just take a chill pill, calm down, focus on what's ahead. Because you mentioned the losses, A&M, Kentucky, and LSU. Those are three good baseball teams. Like, they're not bad losses. I mean, Texas A&M was kind of a blowout in one of those games, but they're not bad teams to lose to. And so I think for this team, it's just a matter of stepping back, taking a look at the season as a whole. It's still a good season so far, take a chill pill, and move on with the rest of the season.
I'm in lockstep with both of you here. Well, first and foremost, what an honor and a privilege to be here one last time. It's an honor and a privilege. But
Thanks
I'm
for
in
being
lockstep with you guys. And the one thing that I would tell my players, and I did play baseball in high school.
Yeah.
like you
Oh,
two.
we're gonna find that.
Well,
out.
you'll find out
We're
soon.
going to see.
But the one thing I tell them is April showers bring May flowers. You know, calm down. It's gonna be fine. You know, your droughts come and it's gone. You're in a new month. Saddle up, get ready. You talk about that Texas A&M series loss. Look at Texas A&M now, one of the hottest teams in the country and rolling. An underrated, you know, Kentucky team. They still went 10-7 in the month of April. And, you know, you'd like to see them more, you know, a little pushing the agenda a little bit more, but that's fine. It's fine. Just keep on going. May is here. Keep chugging along.
All these answers, you know, they sound cliche, but there is truth in all of them. They do need to calm down. They do need to find a way to kind of recoup and regroup. And I think that would help them significantly. Moving on, let's talk about the pitching, which again has been a weakness for this Tennessee baseball team. In the last few series, it just has not looked good. It hasn't. So what specific changes do you guys want to see from this baseball team?
Well, I'm going to go with the fact that we need to get a Sunday guy. I don't think that we have had that. You look at, you know, Liam Doyle, Marcus Phillips, and then who? Who's next? You got your closers or your relievers. You got Snead, Lloyd, Franklin. You got three solid arms just like you did last year. And you have a top half of your lineup that's complements, and then great. But they don't have an understanding of what they're doing quite yet. And we're almost at the end of the regular season. You look at the SEC tournament coming up. This is the first time that they've lost 3 series in 1 month since April of 2018, which was Tony Vitello's first season here. You gotta get the pitching, you know, going here. So find somebody some avenue to just get some confidence back. Because after, you know, Doyle and Phillips, who do you got? That's what you got to do. You got to get your pitching going.
I think that's a big part of it. But the other thing that I'm looking at is I'm a huge fan that Vitello is as confident in this pitching staff as he is to continually change people out. He believes that we have depth in our pitching or in the pitching bullpen, and he switches out pitchers very often. But my counter to that is if he's going to let guys pitch for only an inning or less than an inning, and there's this constant rotation, I think that puts a little bit more pressure on the pitchers to perform because they know they're not going to be out there for long. And I'd honestly like to see him leave out those relievers a little bit longer than an inning or 2 outs. I'd like to see the relievers stay in there just a little bit longer, let them work themselves out of the hole if they dig themselves one. And, you know, maybe that's an unpopular opinion because you'd want some fresh arms in there. But I feel like we talked about this with Kentucky football in the fall where, you know, they were switching out quarterbacks often, and it puts a lot of pressure on them. I think it's the same thing with Tennessee's relievers right now, that there's so much switch up that it's hard to have that consistency that, you know, to build that consistency with, you know, other than Doyle and Phillips.
I don't think that's unpopular at all. And it wouldn't be Orange Zone if I didn't bring up fundamentals and whatnot. But look, in all seriousness, if you want to talk about your rotations and subbing out guys for the Vols, I think you leave them in there longer because if you got guys that are out there for an inning, maybe 2, you're not getting the full experience, and there's so much pressure on those performances. And I'm sorry, this is probably unpopular along with your original unpopular, but there used to be the day where you could send a guy out there to pitch, and he would pitch you a good 7-8 innings. And guys like Nolan Ryan, I'll tell you this, you want to know a fun fact? Nolan Ryan has the most pitches in an MLB game, 235. 235. And I'll tell you, he probably went home and he took care of business that night, you know, with his children or something like that. Yeah, but
back to
look,
a normal day.
Yeah, exactly. And his arm was okay. Look, so I'm just telling you, there's a will and a way. And Tommy John, whatever. Look, I miss when people used to go out there and do incomplete games. Okay.
You sound like my mother and my father.
Well, that's a fair point.
It's a fair point.
My dad has that same grievance where you may as well just have all relievers if you're just going to throw them for 2 innings.
Who's the starting pitcher? What defines a starting pitcher?
Right, the fact that he's first, but he still throws.
Yeah,
for 3.
exactly.
I'm in agreement. Now, how are these guys going to get back to Omaha? They've got 3 series remaining, and those series are with Auburn, Vanderbilt. Those 2 are here in Knoxville, and then Arkansas. They head down to Arkansas before the SEC tournament. How are these guys going to get back on track, and how does this baseball team eventually get back to Omaha?
I think if this team wants to get back to Omaha, they need to go 2 for 3 on these last series. The 2 at home, Auburn and Vanderbilt, and 1 on the road, Arkansas. That Arkansas one is going to be a really tough series, especially since it's away in Fayetteville. But I see the Vols having to go 2 for 3 in this last series if they want to give themselves a solid chance of making it to Omaha. And now there is a lot of ball left to be played in the season. 3 regular season series, a couple midweek games, and you still got the postseason too with the SEC tournament. The SEC tournament will be very telling for this team as well, but I think it starts in these last 3 series, having 2 good series performances and getting the win in 2 of those.
I'm going to agree with Luke today. I don't know what it is, but him and I are on the same way.
It's because it's the last one. You guys are.
I agree. My point was you cannot let 2 go here. You have to get at least 2, and if you lose 2, I don't see any sort of bright future ahead. Grit. You have to have grit, and you have to go in there, and this goes back to our first topic of conversation, your why and your heart. Go in there, and you have to take 2.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. You've got to take advantage. You have this 9-game homestand coming up for the Vols. You've got to take advantage. And you have to win your Sunday games. 1 and 3 in Sunday games in the month of April. And in those Sunday games, the pitching gave up 17 runs, 8 runs again, and then 12 runs. You've got to get your pitching calm down. Again, what we were speaking about earlier. And you need your freshmen to start hitting again. They were hitting the cover off the ball in non-con play. Can they settle back down, get back into groove, much like this pitching needs to do, get some confidence under their belt, and drive the ball like we all know that they can do. Another thing that pitching needs to do, count leverage. Get that first pitch strike over and go from there.
Mm-hmm. They also need to focus. I think it's most important that last series against Arkansas is one that can seriously carry momentum into the SEC tournament,
doubt.
into the postseason. If let's say they lose that series against Auburn, that series against Vanderbilt, it's going to hurt, and that's going to be very, very ugly. But if they come back and win away in Arkansas, that's going to be a big, big, big shot of momentum.
I'd argue that even if they do lose that series in Arkansas, so long as it's close, I think that's momentum. I think even without a series win there, you can still build off of that just if you keep it close and put up a good showing.
Absolutely. All right, well, we got some fun coming up because yesterday Coach Thornton put the rest of the Orange Zone crew to the test to see how we would do and how we would look in the outfield. Let's take a look.
All right, guys, we made it to the wiffle ball field. We weren't able to get into the fancy fields. Nonetheless, we're going to be practicing our fielding with Coach Tristan.
That's Coach Thornhill, do you mean?
Sorry, Coach. Now, we're going to be able to really get a good idea of if we have the right to critique the volunteer baseball team as they've had their struggles. There's only one way to find out, and that's on the field. Let's do it.
Get your SARS sacks out.
What's the drill?
Oh, my God. I would like to point out that this is a steep incline, and as I was running, I tripped. Not the most athletic thing I've ever done. Get the next person out of here.
He's running on this one. See if you can beat him. I got a great first step. Oh, run it out, coach. He's out. He's got to be out. Oh.
On that time.
Hey, hit him out, Trent. He's out. He's out. Stop.
Nice! What?
Time.
I don't think you got the tag on him.
Time. Time. That is not how it works. You gotta be aware, kid.
Oh my God, went over the hill.
Man, I don't get down the line like I used to. But I got down it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Gosh darn it. Stay with it. Oh, so. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Two things. One, I feel like that closing scene with me laying on home plate, Tristan with his hands on his head, Luke is in the bushes finding after throwing the ball, with Sophie under cover. And I mean, that was the ultimate. Also, sorry, let's correct that. Tristan Thornhill.
I
tripped over my
appreciate
words.
that.
It was a
No, I
lower third and
appreciate
everything. I apologize for that. But that was quite the outing.
For a guy who knows baseball, though, we might need to teach you the meaning of the word time.
Listen. You know what? At the end of the day, there's some things that Tennessee baseball might be able to learn from you guys. I gave y'all a solid B- for the production out on the field there. I liked it. Honestly, I'm gonna give Sophie the benefit of the doubt. I think she was the best one out there, though.
She was money.
She had a strong
Absolutely.
appearance. She had a very strong fundamental. She was very
She was
fundamental.
fundamental. She was fundamental.
I don't think I saw.
It wouldn't be OZ if it wasn't about the fundamentals.
It wasn't
man.
fundamental. I don't know if I saw Sophie catch a baseball without 2 hands on the glove. That's how fundamental it was. It was impressive. The orange zone is starting to impact everybody in the fundamentals. Well, that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as we did. And that's all the time for the first half of the orange zone. But when we come back, we're going to have some predictions for what will happen over the summer while we're gone. We're also going to take a look and hear from a very special former Orange Zone alum, or I guess he is an Orange Zone alumni. In the meantime, Rocky Talk is getting ready to talk a lot of pro sports, and we're going to let them do just that after this quick break.
If I could be you, you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again, then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
The University of Tennessee is on the rise, lighting the way in everything we do, from theater to supply chain management to advanced materials, creating leaders in the field, on the field, and in every field. The best way to rise is to lift others up and reach for the summit together. It takes each one of us giving our all. It takes a volunteer.
Ladies and gentlemen, to everyone tuning in, welcome to the Spring 2025 Rocky Talk finale. And to make it extra special today, we have not 3, but 4 characters on the desk here today, joined by Jack Lennon, Chance Jones, and Nick Rose. I'm Jeremy Knopf II. For one last time this semester, let's rock and roll, shall we? Let's go. With the majority of the NBA playoffs first round being complete, we now have a sense of the heavy favorites and dark horses for the coveted Larry O'Brien Trophy. For starters, the top seeds are not showing any slack. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder dominated their opening series against the Miami Heat and Memphis Grizzlies respectively, cruising to 4-0 series wins and advancing to their conference semifinals. More squads that continue to prove themselves are the 2nd seed Boston Celtics and the number 4 Indiana Pacers, winning their series 4-1 and securing their spots in the next round. So more surprises came out of round number 1, and we'll get to them in just a few moments. But guys, telling by the amount of impressive performances and runaway victories we have seen in the first round, I think it's pretty safe to say that the race to the NBA Finals is wide open. So, I don't mean to put any of you on the spot here, but based on what you have seen, who is the team to beat out of the East and Western Conferences, and why so?
I got to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder out in the West. The Thunder have been one of the best teams all year, maybe one of the best teams of all time if you want to take it that far. Their defense is phenomenal, and they have so many guys offensively who can beat you. Their 8-man rotation who I trust to go get a bucket late in the game. Aaron Wiggins is like their 8th man, and he had 40 late in the season. So that team is very deep. They swept the Grizzlies. There's not a whole lot of competition that I see could rival them out west. The only little nuisance I'd put on them is that they're a very young team. So not real lot of playoff experience. Hopefully Alex Caruso, the veteran in that group, can help step that up. Out east, I have to go with the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are the reigning NBA champs. It's hard to discredit them, but they're also one of 2 playoff teams to have not have a losing record against the Cavaliers in the regular season. The other one being the Pacers, who actually won their matchups 3-1 during the regular season. So I think it's just hard to discredit the champs, especially that since they're continuing on the path that they have last year and building upon that this year.
Yeah, that is true without a doubt. Well, what do you say, Jack? Who you got?
I can get behind the Celtics out east, but Nick, you're wrong about the Thunder out west. I'll tell you why. You cannot bet against Steph Curry because if you're out west, Steph Curry is always the man to beat. The Golden State Warriors are always the team to beat, and that's because of how much playoff experience they have. Don't tell me a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have 0 championships combined on their entire roster, can beat Steph, who's won it 4 times, can beat Draymond, who's won it 4 times, can beat Steve Kerr, one of the most winningest coaches in NBA history. Look, this team still has Draymond Green, too. He should have won Defensive Player of the Year as far as I'm concerned. He's a 4-time champion. He's still playing defense at a phenomenal level. They have 2 of the best postseason performers of all time with Steph Curry, a former Finals MVP, and Jimmy Butler added to that equation as well. It's a lethal 1-2 punch. They're getting all sorts of valuable bench contributions. Brandon Pajemski's putting in 12 points a game. Moody's pouring in 11. And Hield and Gary Payton II are combining for 16 a game off the bench as well. They're also getting some solid rebounding from Quentin Post. My only problem with the Golden State Warriors right now is that their leading rebounder, Draymond Green, is averaging 4.8 rebounds per game, and their point guard, Steph Curry, is second. They need to get Kevon Looney back in there, who averaged 13.6 rebounds per game in the 2023 playoffs and career 6.6 rebounds a game in the playoffs. Out east, though, I got Indianapolis. They dismantled the Bucks 4-1. They got great teamwork, 7 different players averaging double figures in this series, and the most assists per game in the playoffs at 30 assists per game, 4 more than the second-place team, the Clippers. They're taking care of the ball, just 10 turnovers a game, and they're first in defensive rebounds per game. They're well-coached. Rick Carlisle's a phenomenal defensive schemer. I think they got a great chance to win the East.
Some strong picks right there for sure, but what do you have, Chance?
Well, I'm going to take the layup over in the East. I'm going to take the Cleveland Cavaliers. I really like what I see from them. I think they're the clear favorite to win the Eastern Conference. You talked about their struggles against Indiana in the regular season. I think that'll be a tough series for them, but I think if they can hold it out, grind it out, I think they have a really good shot to go all the way. They absolutely dismantled the Miami Heat 4-0. They won by an average of 30 points per game. The closest matchup was 9 points. They're very stable. I feel like they're really under the radar as a 1 seed. I feel like not a lot of people are talking about them. They're not making headlines for, controversies or, the wrong reasons. They're just a very stable team. They put their head down. They go to work. I really like that about them. They're led by shooting guard Donovan Mitchell. He's on 30 minutes a game, 24 points per game, 16th in the NBA, 45% from 3 in the first round. That's pretty lights out. That's pretty solid. Hard to beat that, but over in the West, I'm gonna double down on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Ant-Man is here, and he means business. He wants to beat you. He wants to humiliate you. He wants to embarrass you in every way possible. Julius Randle stepped up for the Wolves in the series against the Lakers. Put to bed some of those doubts about his playoff performances. The Wolves shot under 15% from 3 last night, and they still won the game. That's what I like about them. They are a Swiss Army knife. They find ways to win. They have a very deep bench. Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Whatever you throw at them, they can adapt. Game 1, the paint was covered. They couldn't find Rudy Gobert open, so what do? They rain down 21 of 42 threes. 50%. That's pretty good. 21 threes in a game. And then Game 5, three-pointers weren't falling. They were 7 for 47 from beyond the arc. They find a way to get Rudy Gobert open. He drops 27 at the rim. They just find ways to win. They cannot be stopped. Nobody should be surprised that the Timberwolves are a dark horse contender. Arguably one of the best 6 seeds we've ever seen in the NBA playoffs.
A very strong case you're making there, Chance. Well, as you can tell by all of us here, a lot of enthusiasm as the NBA Finals comes close to an end. So can't wait to see who comes out on top. But now we're going to move from the hoops to the gridiron, as the 2025 NFL Draft was a huge success, especially for a few Tennessee Volunteers that will soon begin the next chapter of their football careers. This year's group of Vol draftees were led by defensive masterclass James Pierce Jr., who was elected at 26 overall by the Atlanta Falcons. However, don't let that take away from the ones that highlighted days 2 and 3. Defensive tackle Omar Norman Lott joined the reigning AFC champ Kansas City Chiefs in round number 2. And offensive playmakers Dante Thornton Jr. and Dylan Sampson were both taken off the board in the 4th round, drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders and Cleveland Browns respectively. While only those 4 Vols were drafted in 2025, several more star players were signed to different squads as undrafted free agents. And we as analysts have seen throughout time that even though some players get drafted late or not even drafted at all and signed as free agents, that doesn't mean they can't stand out amongst the rest in the league. So, with that being said, which day 2 or day 3 volunteer draftee or signed free agent is set up for the most success in the NFL?
Jeremy, you touched on him earlier. I'm going to have to go with Dante Thornton Jr., the wide receiver who went to the Las Vegas Raiders. I feel like that's just a match made in heaven. They're a really struggling receiver room. They took a receiver earlier in the draft in the 2nd round, Jack Beck out of TCU. But other than that, their one guy in Vegas is Jacoby Myers. So he's going to have a lot of reps as a rookie. And plus, they're going to build on a big running team with Chip Kelly coming over from Ohio State to now become the offensive coordinator under Pete Carroll. They have a ton of weapons on that offense. Newly got quarterback Geno Smith, drafted Ashton Jeanty 6th overall, and they have Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer at tight end. So I feel like that offense is absolutely loaded, and there's too many options to stop them all. I feel like Dante Thornton's going to be a great under-the-radar type of threat for that offense where he's going to have that deep ball enabled where you're going to have to always watch over the top.
Moving down to Jack, who do you got?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Jeremy, saying, look, it doesn't matter how late these guys get drafted. A lot of times, some of these guys turn out to be unseen stars. You think of a guy like Chris Harris, who's undrafted. He turns out to be Super Bowl champ, multiple-time All-Pro. So I'm going to go with the undrafted free agent, Will Brooks, the former Tennessee safety. He signs with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I can't think of a better situation for him, especially as a guy who embodies hard work and determination. He was a walk-on at Tennessee. He was 2nd on the team this year with 59 total tackles, 2nd on the team this year with 9 passes defended, and tied 1st with 4 interceptions. He shows up in big games. He had an interception and a tackle for loss in the college football playoff game against Ohio State and 7 tackles on a pass breakup against Georgia. This is a match made in heaven. If you're the Chiefs, you're getting a really hard worker, and I think he's going to do great things.
Will Brooks has definitely made a lot of wow moments during his time at Tennessee, and he's looking to make some more with the big boys in the pros. So who do you have, Chance?
Well, I'm going to take a look at Dylan Sampson, drafted by the Cleveland Browns. We all know how impactful he was for this Tennessee offense in the fall. He was heavily relied on throughout the course of the season. He's currently listed as the 3rd string for the Cleveland Browns. It doesn't sound like they're bringing back Nick Chubb right now. It sounds like he might go to the Bears is kind of what I've heard so far. But I think that could help and hurt Sampson in some ways. He's likely to get more snaps without their star guy. But, not having a veteran presence in the locker room, I think that might have a few setbacks. With how unstable the Browns have been over the last 10 years or so, the running back always kind of seems to be the position where they are stable. So I'm hoping that sense of stability will help him out in the long term. I really hope he can see. Cleveland seems to be like one of those organizations where just nothing ever goes right for them. So we're hoping for the best for Dylan Sampson.
Absolutely. But now, as we focus out on the Vols and look back at this NFL draft as a whole, it wasn't as chaotic as it has been in years past. Now, we have still seen some trades here and there. Big names picked early, big names picked late in the rounds. But regardless of what happens every year, football fans ask themselves the same question. Who won the draft? So I'll ask you 3 that here today to close us out. Considering all events that have happened this past weekend, which organization has emerged as the champions of this year's NFL draft?
I have to go with the Atlanta Falcons, Jeremy. I feel like they did a fantastic job in the draft, specifically in day 1, where they traded up after drafting Jalen Walker out of UGA, the edge. They traded up to draft James Pierce Jr. Atlanta's a team that's had 0 to any, barely any pass rush the last several years. The last marquee pass rusher for the Falcons happened to be Vic Beasley back in 2016. So this is a team that struggled generating pressure, and they end up drafting 2 of my favorite draft prospects at edge. So that was really impactful for them. And then they also drafted Xavier Watts in the 3rd round, I believe. And that's a guy who I see them playing as like a kind of Kyle Hamilton with the Ravens. And they're going to let Jesse Bates roam up top and let this really instinctually driven safety go make plays down in the box. And as well as their UDFA class, they did very well in UDFA and undrafted free agents. Wide receiver Nick Nash from San Jose State won the Triple Crown this year in college football. Most catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns. And a guy like that doesn't even get a flyer in the 7th. As well as cornerback Kobe White from Kansas. He's a phenomenal cornerback. No idea how he didn't get drafted. Must have had injury-related issues. But I really like this Falcons draft class.
So Nick Rose going with the Atlanta Falcons. How about Jack?
Look, I love the Falcons draft class as well, but for me, this is a no-brainer. The Baltimore Ravens absolutely got the steals of the draft. Somehow the rest of the NFL allowed them to pair Malachi Starks with Kyle Hamilton. Are you kidding me? You got the best safety in the league, you added the best safety in college, and somehow you still picked up one of the premier pass rushers in the draft, Mike Green, on day 2. So you're pairing those guys with Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, Nate Wiggins, and Nnamdi Madubuike. This is an elite defense in Baltimore. They always seem to put the pieces together on that defense. They needed that edge rusher. They got Mike Green. He had a first-round grade. They drafted him 59th overall, and they drafted an offensive weapon in the late rounds. 4.46 40-time wide receiver out of Colorado, LeJonte Webster, who had 931 yards and 10 touchdowns last season. Can't hurt to get Lamar another weapon.
So Jack going with an AFC North team, the Baltimore Ravens. To close us out, Chance, who you got?
I'm going to take the New York Giants. To me, they came away with a highway robbery of a draft. I think they got a lot of top 5 and top 10 guys at their positions. They put some depth in their trenches on both sides of the ball and the lines. But the highlights are certainly Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart, and Arizona State running back Cam Skattebo. You know, Abdul Carter finished 2024 at Penn State with 68 total tackles and 12 sacks. He's a big game changer no matter where he was going to go. He's a stud. He's a dog. Jackson Dart threw for 4,200 yards and 29 touchdowns. I think he's talented. I like what I see with a lot of him. He's coming into a pretty strong quarterback room in New York. They signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. I think he can learn a lot from those guys. Let him sit and develop. We've seen, throwing young quarterbacks in to the dogs in year one never does any work for them. I think he could learn a lot from some of those guys that have been around for a while. Cam Skattebo, not much to say. He's also a dog. Rushed for 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns. Led ASU to the college football playoffs. You and I talked about it before the show. He was the only player to win MVP.
In the last 26 years, I believe, the only player from a losing team to win his MVP of a bowl game. Really impressive there. But I have to disagree with you on Jackson Dart. I feel like they reached mightily. I was not a big fan. If he went in day 3, I would have been, okay, that's a pretty good draft pick. But trading up back into the first, I get that they did not give up a lot of value or draft capital to get him. But I just don't feel like Jackson Dart is all that ready. He does go into a kind of favorable quarterback room with Jameis Winston and Russ to learn under. But I feel like Giants fans are going to see the struggling quarterback room at some point during the season and demand to see him, and it's going to ruin his development.
I totally believe that. And I just wanted to hit one more thing on Cam Skattebo. I think he's a really talented guy, good, hard worker. I don't think he's quite going to fill the void that Saquon Barkley left, but I think the potential is there. Give him a few years to develop. I think he could maybe be their next star running back.
It has definitely been a busy offseason for the New York Giants, and the NFL draft just adds on to that. And a memorable NFL draft it was, just adds even more excitement to a new season starting this fall. Well, gentlemen, that is indeed all the time we have for today. And I truly mean this, I cannot ask for a better group to close out this semester with, especially considering that all of us are new to Torch Sports. We had absolutely no idea what we were getting into, but man, what a journey it is. And it's just starting. And you know what? Every single one of you watching at home, whether it is in home or work, with your family, with your favorite pets, it doesn't matter. You really made this all worthwhile for us, and for that, we say thank you. And we cannot wait to see where this journey leads us soon. Until then, for Jack Glennon, for Chance Jones, for Nick Rose, I'm Jeremy Knopf II. Thank you all for tuning in today. And ladies and gents, for one final time, this is Rocky Talk.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the last summit of not only the semester, but the full school year. So sad. I don't think I'll be able to bring the level of energy that Jeremy brought, but let's get into it.
Yes, you can, Jordan. Let's hear it. Summit, let's hear it.
Summit. That's awful. Anyways, I'm your host, Jordan Smitherman, alongside Alexi Cowan, Lauren Gempler, and Charlie Fernandez. The Lady Vols are starting to wrap up their season as they have their final home series tonight through Saturday against number 2 Texas A&M. Let's get into it. So let's keep it simple. First off, what are your score predictions for tonight's game? Lauren, let's start off with you.
Okay, I have them winning just because the last couple series they've started off with the loss. They're back at home, so I'm feeling like they're gonna pull out a win for us. So I'm saying 4-2, the Lady Vols win tonight at home to start the series off strong.
You said 4-2?
4-2.
Okay.
4-2.
Charlie?
Yeah, so Tennessee softball team has lost the past 2 series openers or against ranked opponents, Ole Miss and Texas. However, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. This Texas A&M team does not have a great pitching staff, so I think they'll be able to get the job done. Give me Tennessee 5-4.
Good points. Alexi?
Okay, they don't have a great pitching staff, but they're number 2 in the country, Charlie. I'm sorry. Tennessee gets the loss tonight, 7-4. I think Tennessee, they lost their last series last weekend to number 9 Arkansas. Bad loss for Texas A&M. So I think they're coming into Knoxville tonight, upset on a burner.
I'm loving the variety. So let's move on. What are your overall series predictions for the Lauren?
I have the Lady Vols winning, taking the series 2-1. I do think the issue is going to be the pitching that we've seen multiple times. It cannot all fall on Carlin Pickens like it has continued to do in recent series. So I do feel like tomorrow they might fall, win on Sunday, but looking at this past Sunday at Ole Miss, Karen Weekly pitched 4 different pitchers in that game. And the Lady Vols were able to rally, come back, and get that win and win the series. So I feel like if the pitching is as strong as it was last weekend at Ole Miss, then they have a chance at winning the series 2-1. They've beaten a ranked 1. They've beaten a ranked 2. Why not do it again and end the regular season with a win?
Pitching staff is going to be huge this weekend and for the rest of the season.
I think A&M will take the series win. Okay, give me A&M tonight. Then Tennessee tomorrow night. A&M will close the deal out on Saturday. And this is because A&M is 9-1 on the road. They have the second best road win series behind Grand Canyon, who's 10-0 on the road.
Okay, Grand Canyon.
That's great for them. They are really good on the road. And so I think Tennessee has every right to be scared to death about this matchup. I don't feel good. They're due a bad loss, if you ask me.
But like Lauren said, the Lady Vols have beaten Oklahoma and Texas on the road. You don't think we're going to
So they're due a bad loss.
I hate to agree. They are due for a bad
They're
loss.
due. You know how Tennessee is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, Alexia, I'm going to have to disagree with you.
Shocker.
I think Tennessee's going to win tonight, and I think they're going to win on Saturday. I think if you see a theme there, Carlin Pickens likely on the mound both those nights to start. And this Texas A&M Aggies softball team is not really any standouts. They're ranked 26th in ERA within all of softball, and not really too insane of a hitting staff as well. What do they do instead? Find a way to win games. I think they'll come out game 2 when Pickens isn't on the mound, but overall I think Tennessee will win the series 2-1.
Do we know if Pickens is starting tonight? Do we know?
I'm not certain
starts game 1 of the series, so.
And that's why they would win tonight.
Okay, I'll give you that. Exactly. I'll give you that. You know, that changes my perspective.
If Pickens is pitching, do the Lady Vols win?
Good question.
Oh.
She's going to say no.
Yeah. I think they do win if Pickens pitches.
Okay.
Switching up the prediction.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know.
Hopefully tonight goes well. But speaking of pitching, what can the Lady Vols do on the mound besides Carlin Pickens to impose fear into the Texas A&M dugout? Charlie?
Yeah, well, Aaron Newer and Sage Marchetka are the two that would likely be pitching aside from Pickens. And I think they're both good options. They're pitchers that attack the strike zone, pitch to contact. However, I think Aaron Newer can get out of jams, and while she does have fewer innings than Marchetka, I think we should throw her on the mound.
Alexi?
If I'm Tennessee, I say you hope and pray that Carlin Pickens can do enough to get you one game win and go from there, because I don't think Texas A&M is fearing any other pitcher except Carlin Pickens. I don't think they care too much as long as Carlin Pickens is not on the field. But if I had my pick, I would go to Sage Marchetka just because she has more experience. I mean, her and Newer are pretty head-to-head. I would go for either of them. But still, it's like you've got Steph Curry on your team, but then you've got a couple D1 high school players. Okay, like you want Steph. You want Steph the whole time. And so they're going to be scared of Steph. They're not going to be scared of the high school players. That's what I see on it.
So you want the best competition. You want us to put our best foot out there.
I mean, there's nothing else you can do except hope and pray. Because, I mean, what if Pickens has a bad game? What are you going to do?
Good point.
Hope and pray.
Fair enough.
True.
Yes. I like Aaron Newer. Look, not necessarily as a starter. I like her as a relief. She came in this past weekend, 2 out of 3 games against Ole Miss, pitched 4 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 hit. I think she is great as a relief, but I'm not so sure about her as a starter. But I do have to agree with Alexi. I don't think Texas A&M is fearing anyone but Carlin Pickens. But if I have to pick, I'll pick Aaron Newer as a relief pitcher.
Okay.
Carlin Pickens has helped the Lady Vols out a ton this year, and hopefully she can help them out some more. Let's switch it up now. We're going to play a game of home run or foul ball. I'm going to pitch a question relating to the Lady Vols season and their history with Texas A&M, and if you think it's true, answer with home run. If you think it's false, answer with foul ball.
Now, are you going to pitch them
like a softball pitch?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Everybody
let's get started. Taylor Pinnell is leading the team in number of home runs. Home run or foul ball, Lauren?
Home run.
Home run. I think the last time I saw, she was leading the team in about every statistic. Home run.
What about you, Lexi?
Home run.
You all are correct. She is leading the team in home runs with 15.
Thanks for that one, Charlie.
Next, the Lady Vols have 5 seniors they're honoring this weekend for Senior Day. You say home run?
That's home run.
Home run.
Okay.
I'm going to say foul ball for this. I feel like the number could be a little more or a little less.
4. Panel. Nugent.
Keep
going.
Gibson. I do think it's 5.
It's got to be 5.
But I don't know.
That's a good number.
Okay, Lauren and Alexi, you are right. It's 5. The 5 are Kinsey Fiedler, McKenna Gibson, Laura Mueller, Sophia Nugent, and Katie Taylor.
Men are wrong once again.
Next, Carlin Pickens combined with Aaron Newer to throw a no-hitter earlier this season. Home run or foul ball? Who wants to go?
Foul ball.
Foul ball, yeah.
You are all correct. Carlin Pickens combined with Peyton Tanner earlier in the season to throw a no-hitter, and it was a big accomplishment for the freshman. Home run or foul ball? 2004 was the first softball meeting between Texas A&M and Tennessee. Anyone got a guess?
Foul ball.
Say home run.
Foul ball.
Have you ever heard it on the Wii? Foul ball.
Foul ball, yes. It is foul ball. The first meeting between them was 1997.
Oh.
Okay, another one. Home run or foul ball? In the Lady Vols' history of playing Texas A&M, they score an average of 6 runs per game. Lauren?
6. Home run.
Okay.
Seems a little high. I'm going to go foul ball.
Now,
Okay.
both of them or just Tennessee?
Just their average hits against Texas A&M is 6.
Sure, homer.
Yes, home run. The exact number is 5.87, I'm pretty sure.
Does that mean me and Alexi got them all right?
Maybe. Okay.
I think we did.
I think we have so far. I'm trying to keep.
Yes.
Do we have a punishment for Charlie?
I don't know if that one
Or do we
counted.
have
It
a
wasn't
reward?
quite 6.
Not at this moment, but maybe we can think of something later.
Okay.
But that is all the time we have for you on the summit. And we wish you all a successful finals week and a happy summer. And as always, go Lady Vols.
If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds, walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again, then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
The University of Tennessee is on the rise, lighting the way in everything we do, from theater to supply chain management to advanced materials, creating leaders in the field, on the field, and in every field. The best way to rise is to lift others up and reach for the summit together. It takes each one of us giving our all. It takes...
All right, lock in, here we go.
Quiet.
Quiet. All right, guys, we're having some technical difficulties, but we're still okay. Welcome back to the Orange Zone. For those, now we got the 2 Lukes to the left, and Orange Zone veteran Zach Pelfrey to my right.
They don't like when we do this, but we got to clap it up
Come
for
on,
him.
come
we
on.
got to clap it up for him.
Yeah! Woo! The band is back together. Sophie couldn't be here, so we got just the guys. We'll have some fun. It'll be a good time. Now, since the year is coming to an end, this is going to be like when you watch your favorite TV show and they do like the memory. Oh, remember when? That's kind of what this is going to be like. But we don't have an episode. Torch Sports doesn't have an episode until next year, and there's a lot of things that could happen in this summer. Do you guys have any predictions you want to lay out now so you can say I told you so?
I was thinking about this on the car ride over, and one thing that I've been asking, pleading for, I think, in fact, that we should set up a GoFundMe. This board right here, what is the guy's name?
Steve Kornacki. That's who you're talking about? Who's gonna with the interactive
touches
board?
the board.
Oh yeah, Steve Kornacki.
Well, it could be both.
Could be both.
Well, there are two different.
Anyway, the guy that gets physical with the board, he pulls and pushes and zooms in and clicks on stats. I'd like to see us get physical. Okay, I want a board that is really, interactive.
Interactive board.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, moving on. Someone else.
Okay, when I was going for a prediction, I meant more like the Vols are going to make it to
like a score prediction.
But I love the optimism.
We want the interactive board.
I love the optimism. I love the optimism. That was excellent. I hope we also get an interactive board. That's okay. It's all right.
I'll give you a prediction. I think that the Tennessee Volunteer football team makes it to the playoffs once again this year.
Really?
That would have been great to specify.
Who's the starter? Who's the starter?
For quarterback?
Yeah.
Joey Aguilar.
Okay.
I think he wins the job.
He's got it. He's going to do well.
I think Joey Aguilar 1, George McIntyre's 2, and Jake Merkler's 3.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I want to clarify, Zach got thrown onto the orange zone like as late as you could. I walked in the studio, I was like, oh yeah. He was like, nah, I don't have the right clothes, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, you're fine. Grab a polo, we're good to go. So excuse his attire.
Hey, but I am here.
He is here.
You're here, and it's here.
And we
it's
love
a polo.
it.
It's a TVC polo. I'd argue that's better. Anyone could wear this. Not everyone can wear
what are you,
TVC
graduating
polo.
or something?
Maybe.
Yeah, like whatever.
Maybe. Zach, I know it's last minute, but do you have any predictions you want to lay out?
I'm going to do a
before we
bold
get
prediction.
there? Okay.
And I've been saying this one for a while. I think with the Vols pitching staff, I don't think they make it to Omaha.
Wow.
I don't think they make it.
Wow. That's not crazy.
I don't think they make it to Omaha this year.
Should have brought him
Not
on
ridiculous
for
for you
one.
to say that. Not ridiculous for you to say that.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking.
agree.
That's the meme I was thinking of.
I agree. I think with this pitching staff, the SEC tournament's going to look ugly. I think they win. I am confident they probably win one series of these last three.
Are you sure about that?
There's a chance we don't even host a regional. We're right on the edge. We're number 12 right now.
It's a tough road.
We're right on the edge.
Tough road.
Well, for my prediction, I'm going to go with, I think there is still a lot that we don't know about this Nico leaving and transferring situation. There is going to be some serious, you're going to see a breaking headline sometime soon that says like the details of how he left. That's going to be my bet. I think that we're going to find that something, I'm not trying to say that Tennessee had bad intentions. I don't think Tennessee's in the wrong in any capacity, but I think we're going to learn maybe why he transferred, maybe more details why he transferred. It's gonna blow up. Also, the Vols, they're not gonna do well in Omaha if they can't pitch. I like that, Zach. I'm gonna second that. Now, moving on. Do you guys have any memories or anything that kind of comes to mind when you think of the Orange Zone, when you think of Torch Sports that pops into your head? I can start. One of my favorites was when Tristan was standing right here and he's saying, I don't want to be the bad guy, but the Vols need to, and then cuts. Screen goes green, and everyone's like, and then we are frozen here. And I have the line after, we have no idea what happened. It could have been a tornado. I just say, dude, that was awesome. Not my best moment. Fortunately, no one got hurt. It was just a little lightning strike. But that comes into my mind as a funny, I will remember that forever.
I think for me, one of the memories that sticks out the most is going back to Great, Good, Bad, Ugly when we used to do that in the fall. I think that was just fantastic, seeing this guy get animated over those people swimming in the river once the hurricane happened. I vividly remember that. But I think Great, Good, Bad, Ugly is my memory.
Also the fact that you would almost always find the most obscure football like anything. You would find a JUCO in Waterloo, Iowa. That would be he tried to pass the ball, but he kicked.
Look at this video that's 4x4 pixels that nobody can see because nobody was filming the game. This is remarkable.
You were getting to the point. I thought you were going to come in with like a newspaper clipping. Like, guys, read what happened last night
in Idaho. The guy fumbled it. You can see the picture in black and white.
High school football.
I'm cracking myself up here. This is great.
Lamb, do you have anything?
Oh goodness. You know what I really liked that we did kind of near the end. We did the packages. That's a lot of fun to get outside of the studio and to get connected with friends and coworkers and bond and also have fun. I think that was truly amazing, and I will miss that.
How else would we have shown our fundamentals?
The fundamentals. They never fail. Right here. They never fail. That's why they're called fundamentals. Fundamentals, and they're fun.
Oh, Zach, do you have a TVC? Do you have a Torch Sports? Do you have an Orange Zone memory you want to?
I think my favorite memory is from all the way back to last year when we did the Christmas episode, and I had to leave early. And we had a group picture, and I wasn't here for it, and Jackson held my face up on the iPad.
Here in spirit.
I was in spirit.
That Christmas, if you go back, now fortunately you got to dig for it because it is not on this YouTube account. There's a Christmas episode, a season finale from last year, and a Halloween episode, all worth a watch if you really want to see what the Orange Zone and Torch Sports was
some
like.
of my favorite episodes.
We are wearing sweaters and Santa hats, I believe.
If you watch the Christmas special, don't leave yet, but if you watch the Christmas special, you will see in the opening shot we had a friend named Colton Pennington who was on this show with us on the Orange Zone, and he switched glasses with Luke and had a Santa hat over his eyes. Interesting way to start, and I remember being a little upset because I wanted to use the clip in my reel, and I was like, I can't, because I tried to find a way to Photoshop it so I literally could have just anything. I don't care if it was a still picture, didn't look good, I couldn't use the clip. And there was like a 5-minute highlight that followed that clip too. So that one hurt a little bit. That one hurt a tad. But as most of you know, I'm graduating this year, which means that this is my last episode of Torch Sports. So to wrap it up, we have some wise words from a very wise man that I may have just mentioned earlier. Let's take a look.
What's up, everybody? This is Colton Pennington, former member of Torch Sports, here to congratulate everybody on a great year and to welcome my man Jackson Schock into the real world as an Orange Zone alumni. Jackson, I know it was tough having Sophie and Luke next to you all year. I wish I could have been there myself, and I know you wish I was there too, but I'm glad you were able to get through that, and now it's time to pass that baton and welcome somebody else into the Orange Zone family. In all seriousness, you guys have had an awesome year. I've enjoyed watching all your live shows on YouTube and all the content you've put out on social media. Torch Sports is growing like crazy, and you all should be super proud of what you've accomplished this year. So congrats again to all the graduates and the rest of the crew over there at Torch Sports. I'm super excited to see what you guys have planned for next fall. Go Vols!
Oh, that's awesome. Colton, I
awesome.
appreciate you for doing that for us. It really means a lot. Anything else, last words before we wrap the final Orange Zone in my career?
I think that we can all say that this has been a fantastic honor to be working with you. You've hosted us for.
I realize I accidentally set this up as a compliment, Strag.
Let's all bow down.
No.
But in all seriousness, you've been great. You work hard. You've got a lot of fun and a lot of hard work, and I think that's a valuable quality to have, considering I like to do both as well. So, but thank you for being a great host. We appreciate it.
One thing not many people know is that Jackson actually created the name Torch Sports from a meeting way back 3 years ago.
It was almost called The Juice.
I remember that. I voted for the Juice. I will say I did vote for the Juice.
Back almost 2 years ago, we had it had an old name. It switched to we were thinking, what should we do? We went into little cohorts in this little meeting, and people came up with all the names, and it was to the Juice and Torch Sports. Torch Sports eventually won.
I think,
but yes,
Torch Sports the Juice was a little.
Juice sounds like a morning show.
The Juice is something else. There's a steroids, there's a 1,000-yard rusher. There are a lot of things that are associated with the Juice that maybe don't have positive connotations with them. Okay.
I like Torch Sports. Great job. Great job, Jack.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing it go on forever. Atal, anything you want to say?
I'm gonna miss the shoe game. A lot of people don't see it when we're behind the desk, but the shoe game is always on point. I'm gonna miss seeing those.
I appreciate that, dude. My parents spent a lot of money on these for Christmas and birthdays. This one I got for myself, but I appreciate that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. We're gonna have a little something special that we'll get to in a second. But seriously, I laugh at the fact that the Orange Zone has shifted around in look and location about 1,000 times. If you go back and watch those videos, like I said, started at the White Wall, then we started doing an OZ2, then we started going to the desk. We're the only segment besides Rocky Talk Summit. Like all of those, we're the only one that has gone to all 3 locations in some capacity and been outside. So we've got the 4. But it's been a lot of fun. I will always remember this great show, the fun I've had, and I look forward. You're gonna get my speech here in about 20 seconds. But seriously, guys, I appreciate it. Lots of fun. So that's all for the Orange Zone. Stick with us after the break because we're gonna bring everyone out, say goodbye for the summer, and see you there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's get there. Stick with us after the break.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
All right, this is it, and this is try not to cry challenge right now. I mean, geez. This finale of Torch Sports for us. We've got our little posters here that were signed by everyone. Very special. And if you notice Riley's poster, first off, Riley made it after work. He sprinted. I got a text that said stall, and I was like, oh crap, okay. So we were killing time until we saw Riley walk in. He was able to make it after work. That's also the same poster that should be hanging in the banners right now. If this was our studio that we owned, it sure would be. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna say a few things, because I know that there are things that we want to say, people that we want to thank, and that everyone will have the opportunity once they're a senior. You guys have to wait. Riley, putting you on the spot, anything you want to say in your last Torch Sports appearance as a student?
Yeah, of course I do. Always got something to say. This group, man, when we took over doing what was then Sports Mecca, sat down in that room and just talked for, I don't even know, it felt like hours that we were just in that room brainstorming all the things we wanted to do, brainstorming all the ideas that we had, came up with the name Torch Sports, came up with the brand, the logo and everything. And since that moment and since the first show as Torch Sports, I've seen this show grow and evolve, and the people that do the show grow and evolve. And it's really been an honor to be able to be at the forefront of that, to be able to lead this group, to be able to get in here and continue to make this show better and better. It really has made a huge difference for me to be able to see something like this change the way that it did throughout the years. And I have full faith that the group that's taking over after me and after Jackson and Tristan and Catherine are gone, they are going to be fantastic. This show is going to continue to get better. So you've got to keep watching, got to keep paying attention. These people are going to absolutely kill it, and this show is going to be the biggest student media sports show in the country. I have full faith that they have that capability, and I'm just so happy to be able to get that chance to be here with this group and see them just grow and evolve. It's been incredible.
Let's go. Well, you guys can clap. I just don't want to snap right in front of the mic. Yeah, no, that was great. Tristan, anything you want to say?
I'm grateful for everybody that I got around my circle, man. If it weren't, I'm going to get vulnerable with you. If it weren't for my mom and my dad convincing me to come back to school, I would have never figured out what a wonderful family Torch Sports can build around you, whether it's these four people up here, people in the back. You two for getting me involved with Torch, and you getting me involved with WUTK. I wouldn't have the experience and the family that I have with me today if it weren't for you guys. And I'm very thankful. I'm sure we'll all cross paths down the road, and beyond thankful, man. And y'all keep killing it behind me. Y'all just keep killing it, man. Y'all are going to keep doing it.
That's good.
say?
Oh gosh, you almost made me cry. That was so poetic. You know, big shout out to everyone. Like they said, we got some stars in the room. Good things are still to come, even though we're all leaving. But shout out to my parents who were watching. My mom, who's still trying to figure out how to comment on the YouTube. You got it one day, Queen.
We got it. You got it.
Overall, y'all have always been so kind to me, so welcoming. So sad to go. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
No, you're good. I'm going to try and keep this short, but it's going to be difficult. I'm going to start by saying, you know, how lucky are we to feel this sad? You know, it's not like we're walking out with smiles on our faces because we're glad it's over. That's not the case. When I came here, I transferred here. I came here kind of looking to really be able to put a mark on a sports show, and this show really, along with the help of so many amazing people behind me at this table, people that have graduated, they gave me us the opportunity to do that, which is amazing. And I'm so thankful for that. Obviously, thank you to my parents. Thank you to my grandparents, aunts, uncles that watch this. We appreciate it. We appreciate any parents that are watching this at 6:05 on a Thursday when you could be doing a lot of other things, but you're here with us. So we appreciate that. And yeah, I look forward to seeing how Torch Sports is going to grow. I look forward to, you know, being able to send in a cheesy video at the end. Well, Colton wasn't cheesy, but mine's going to be. But listen, yeah, this has a big spot in my heart. This is going to be hanging on my wall for as long as it can.
No, we got to get framed, man. We got to get this framed.
Yeah. But yeah, special thank yous to everyone, and that's going to do it. So let's get ready. Let's wrap it up. Big thank yous from a Torch Sports perspective. We want to thank, obviously, the producers for the show, everybody behind me right now that has put in so much work that may not get the credit they deserve. So many people work so hard. We want to thank our makeshift coach, Gene Wojciechowski, for really, you know, doing all that he can to help us. He's helped us grow immensely, you know, throughout this show in general. If you look at a show from the beginning to this one, you're going to see a big difference, and a lot of that's because of him and the hard work and the dedication he's given us. Thank you to, obviously, to the journalism department, to TVC, to Brittany Tarwater, to everyone that's really helped us.
Don't forget about
Tim, oh my
Our boy
gosh, Tim and Brad, 1,000%, thank you. Everyone behind the scenes, thank you so much, and we're excited to move on and achieve incredible things, and we know that you guys will continue to move on and continue to do incredible things. We're beyond excited to see it. I know, speaking for everybody, we're beyond excited. So let's wrap it up. Until next year, until next school year, you can find more Torch Sports content over the summer by following us on Instagram and TikTok at Torch Sports UTK, and on Twitter at Torch Sports _UTK. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you later. The people behind me will see you right back here next year. Peace!